Greetings. This video focuses on a question. Is Tesla about to destroy the auto industry in the same manner in which the internal combustion engine wiped out the horse-drawn carriage? So I bring this question up because there's a lot of conversation. So this is Greg. Wie geht's, wie steht's? Noch einmal zwei Beinen. Bonjour. Здравствуйте. Buenos dias. I wanted to introduce this concept because there's an open question right now that if Tesla actually succeed, they could produce the kind of wreckage of the auto industry in the same manner that the internal combustion engine blew away the horse-drawn carriage. So think about, some of the interesting comparisons. When the horse-drawn carriage was in, there weren't gas stations or parts or other things to support these brand new internal combustion engines. And a horse had so much more flexibility in terms of what it could do. So a lot of the comparisons between the two actually are legitimate. I've been writing about cars for about 30 years, and I was fascinated by the fact that BMW actually has an engine sound department where they want to make sure the car sounds like a BMW through the tailpipe, and as do other manufacturers. And what's interesting is that the electricity driven vehicles have no sound. So this is not unlike the whole idea of the folks that were the best buggy whip manufacturers. What if the new vehicles didn't have any sound, so there's one whole department that's gone? Another issue that pops up with Tesla is once you get out into the engine compartment, there are 18 moving parts there. So, this is radical because, there may be as many as 2,000 moving parts in an internal combustion engine. What this means is that if you only have 18 moving parts, there are a whole bunch of suppliers who are no longer going to be needed if the manner of transportation Tesla is bringing in, which is electric, becomes popular. There's large numbers of auto supplying companies that will be put out of business by this transition. So everything is suggesting that there's no way Tesla's going to be successful in the destruction they have in mind. The issue I'm suggesting is, one, if they grab 3 to 5% of the global market share, and then the other major players come after them with similar types of engines, you could see a transition in a big time basis from internal combustion to electric, and with huge other implications to go with it. Tesla further benefits from the fact that because they're doing their own battery packs and they're involved in solar panels and other activities, allows them to ride the trend they're creating beyond the obvious of just selling their cars. So I would argue that there's a 2 or 3% chance that Tesla becomes one of the top 5 or 6 manufacturers in the world with huge profits to go with it. And they drag the entire industry into a whole new realm of activity, not unlike how we saw the horse-drawn carriage get pushed out in the process. Another data point that comes to mind that's been mind-blowing for me is I have a friend of mine who owned a Panamera Porsche. I asked him, what do you think of the car? And he said he really enjoyed it. And then he informed me that the decision to get rid of it was determined when he needed a brake job, and it was going to cost him $10,000. And that prompted him to switch to, a brand new vehicle. I believe at this point it's a BMW. He would have gone Tesla, but there are some range anxiety issues given that he's in Chicago, and the whole charging thing is just not well done yet. But this is my point, is that the number of parts you have going down result in many owners of high-end vehicles like BMW and Mercedes are unable to hang on to their cars after warranty because all those extra moving parts break down and require a large amount of repair dollars, which you don't have in the case of electric vehicles. So from the parts side, repair side, cost of operation relative to fuel, there's a number of different ways in which Tesla could change the future of the entire industry of transportation when it comes to what's traditionally called an automobile, and they may have to come up with a new name for what they provide. Please like and subscribe.